Hey guys, welcome to Twin Peaks Twin Perspective.
Hello.
I'm Joe.
I'm James. We're twins.
And right now we're going to give to you the best goddamn reaction show you'll ever watch, recovering from a Twin Peaks episode.
With the worst quality video and audio.
Tonight, full spoilers on everything Twin Peaks. We're going to be talking about Twin Peaks The Return, Part 11.
There's fire where you are going.
We both guessed the log lady would say it, and the log lady said it. We bunted. Safe.
Well, we're going for the fences next week.
We're swinging for the fences for our predictions for next week. Okay, this week we're going to start with baseball. Baseball in a trailer park. 3 kids playing. The ball gets away from one of them. He's crossing the street and not looking both ways.
Scaring the bejeebus out of everybody.
In classic Lynch style. He gets the ball and then he sees something. Almost like seeing an ear in Blue Velvet. Or I thought, what I thought of? I thought of the Tim Hunter's River's Edge. Finding the body, seeing the body. Pete Martell seeing the body. And he sees Miriam. Miriam's alive.
Miriam is alive.
A survivor.
The miracle of the pie.
Keep that in mind.
Miriam was the only person at this point, which is the beginning of part 11, that we have seen anyone eat a pie. And she ate a pie, and it saved her. It clogged her arteries. It clogged that eye hole. And that's the miracle of the pie. She is still alive.
I was thinking more of the mystical miracle of the pie, the nice feeling, not to clog your arteries.
We're going to give her a free piece as soon as she recovers. If she's alive, you never know with David Lynch.
Maybe we'll get Calhoun Memorial. Maybe she'll be there, and Shelley and Norma will bring her a couple of pies.
I'm surprised she didn't crawl out by Carl's trailer.
If they're in the Fat Trout.
It seems like that was an edit, because you see Richard leave Miriam in a camper trailer, and then we cut to the Fat Trout trailer park.
Right.
And it feels like she's there, but she looks like she's crawled in a different direction. But I really don't think it is the Fat Trout.
She's out back somewhere.
She's out back.
But we do go straight to the Fat Trout trailer park. Becky Burnett, who's Shelley's daughter, is on the phone, and she's going nuts. She's losing it. Somebody's called her, or she's talking to someone, and that someone's giving up her husband, I guess. Hey, your husband's over here doing this. Where? And she starts freaking out. I don't have a car. She hangs up and she screams.
Good scream.
And then she calls her mama, and Shelley answers the phone at the Double R. She tells Norma, I gotta go. Becky needs me. Shelley leaves.
Norma's sitting there just making a day player check.
Oh, she's gonna have to start waiting on tables till Shelley gets back. Shelley shows up at the Fat Trout. Becky gets a gun from under her bed. She comes outside, meets her mom. All she says is, I hate him, and she grabs the keys from her mom's hand, jumps in the car. She starts to take off, and Shelley's like, wait, Becky, wait, and she jumps on the hood. Now here's Becky with her mom on the hood, and Becky's driving crazy like she don't care.
Probably on that sparkle.
And I screamed, if you hurt Shelley, I don't care what happens to you. Leave Shelley alone. Love Shelley. Or I used to love Shelley. But I don't know how I feel about Shelley anymore.
This ain't the Dukes of Hazzard. It's Twin Peaks. It's not Cannonball Run.
Don't break my heart when it comes to Shelley.
Then you see Shelley's legs flying with the red shoes on her feet. And whoever that stunt woman was had to have 2 sizes too big red shoes on her feet. Get thrown off that car and the shoes come popping up.
The Wizard of Oz.
It was great.
Awesome. Really good. And when Becky drives away, it's a similar shot to when Bobby drove away from Leo's house in the pilot with that menacing music in the background. Very similar. And at that moment, I was like, wow, Becky is Bobby's kid, really. But Becky's going off now. She's crazy. She's got a gun and she's going to kill somebody. I mean,
she's half cocked. A lot of guns in this episode.
Yeah, this episode had a lot to do with family values and
firearms.
Gun control. So Carl Rod shows up Shelley asks for a ride to the Double R. Carl Rod does the little Willy Wonka thing, calling the Oompa Loompas. And the Volkswagen van pulls up with Bill driving. Bill. And
Another Bill.
they're driving the speed limit because they're going to make it there alive. Shelley calls.
We ain't driving like your daughter.
Joke. What's wrong with Becky? Shelley calls Norma, starts to tell Norma the story. And Carl Rod realizes we need to get the daddy involved. So he has a CB that he can get in contact with the sheriff's department. Shh, Maggie, I've got Shelley Briggs over here.
Old school.
Yeah, radio waves. That's what's going to happen when the bomb comes. We're going to have to go back to radio waves. Anyway, we've got Shelley Briggs here.
Married. Confirmation that they are married, were married, and she still has the Briggs. She's carrying the name.
She's carrying the name.
Like our mom. Didn't change her back to her maiden name. She's like too many phone calls to make, too many bills to change.
That's what happened. Our mom got divorced and kept our dad's name, even though.
They could be separated, could be divorced.
I'm going with separated. You're going with.
But separated.
Okay.
Yeah, separated.
Okay. So
she's got it around her necklace. I mean, she's still went at it. We're not going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about Big Red and.
She's got that there and keeps it low cut, and it's just.
She was all dolled up. It was almost like she knew Red was coming. But she'd been wearing a little ponytail for a couple episodes. She was dolled up in the first one, but ponytail after that, and then this one just bright red lipstick going on.
Lynch ain't been showing us something.
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Yeah, Shelley. Bonus scenes. We're gonna say Red.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bobby gets on the phone. Shelley explains the story to Bobby. What happened? The daughter stole the car. So, cut to a hotel where Becky shows up with the gun. She goes up to room 208 and starts banging on the door. Steven, I know you're in there, you fucking coward. And the neighbor says, they left. They're not, there's no one home. So then Becky says, fuck you, Steven, and shoots up the door. Then we realize that hiding somewhere in the hotel complex is Steven. And he's cuddled up in a dark hall with Kirsten Hayward.
Alicia Witt. I had to go back and look.
From Dune, and from Four Rooms, and from Twin Peaks. She was the younger sister of Donna Hayward.
Youngest.
And the piano prodigy. She's a good musician. Anyway.
I don't remember what the second oldest sister was, what her name was.
Harriet.
Harriet.
She was. She wrote poems, and she.
So Harriet's in her 40s, and Kirsten is in her late 30s.
Yeah.
37.
Yeah, she's somewhere late 30s to 40, and Steven's probably in his mid 20s. So.
But no one's saying that she's doing what Becky is there accusing him of doing. It could be.
It seems like an affair,
but
we don't know.
It could be. He could have been trying. She could have been trying to help him out. Who knows?
Yeah, well, you're not Lynch.
As long as it's Lynch, yeah. As long as there's an open doorway, I'm leaving it open.
But we know that the madness is happening right now. We know that the stars are aligned in a way that's going to allow all this evil, and that's
coming
driving everything. Twin Peaks is falling apart. We've seen it for the last several episodes. Everything that's going on in Twin Peaks is just bad.
Yep. I have more to say on that.
Okay, so so she shoots up Kirsten Hayward's apartment door. Great. Wow. Then we go back to the sheriff's station just quick enough to see Maggie. She gets the first call that is whatever it is, probably a 1017. I'm assuming shots fired.
Yeah.
She gets the call and she says 1601 Timberlake Drive. Okay, officers on the way. Then she gets 3 more calls after that. Officers on the way, officers on the way. She never gets the address, so it's the same
Yeah.
crimes.
Everybody
there reported the gunshots is what I'm assuming.
Hopefully the mom, the call made for Miriam came before that.
Yeah, we'll see.
We never talked about that.
They may not be on the same day. Miriam crawling in the woods might be a totally different day.
That's true.
Everything is in the time is just crazy. 2 episodes ago, we were told that in 2 days they were going to have to go to Jack Rabbit's house.
Yeah.
That was 2 episodes ago, and in this episode they said the same thing.
Yeah.
The day after tomorrow. So it's the same night from when they got the container from Major Briggs.
But we saw day and night twice
last episode. We saw a day and night. So they are flip-flopping everywhere.
Yeah.
Really. And hopefully it'll all come together. I'm sitting here begging for them to show a calendar. And we almost got it with Jesse in the car.
Yeah.
We almost got it.
2000. Jesse, you're going to not run out. We're busy, Jesse.
You guys noticed that, right? That was a very important interruption.
But more on Jesse later as well.
Yes, Jesse's
I got a couple things to say about him.
Jesse's a sneaky character. So we do leave Twin Peaks at this point and go to Buckhorn, South Dakota.
No, what?
The FBI is on the case. They're following Hastings' direction. He's bringing them to the place where Hastings said him and Ruth Davenport went, where they crossed into another dimension and met the Major, the Zone.
And he's shaking like Shaggy.
So Mackley's got Hastings in the back seat. No, Detective Mackley is getting his nose into all of this blue rose-ish stuff, man. I'm surprised that Mackley's around, but he's in charge of the case, the local case. So
Yeah.
he got his freak on in this episode. This scene reminded me of the X-Files. This particular scene.
The actor that plays Mackley was supposed to be a regular on Mulholland Drive if it would have been picked up as a TV show. And it didn't. It was going to be Robert Forster and who plays Mackley.
Yeah,
That was going to be the leads.
he's doing a great job.
And Lynch is like paying, this is what I owed you from before.
Right.
He's getting a lot, and he's knocking out the park.
And the Las Vegas Police Department is awesome, and the Buckhorn Police Department is awesome. We've come to know these characters, and I really like.
I hope they all move to Twin Peaks for season 4.
No, it'll be season 2.
Right.
So so where we're going now? Oh, Buckhorn. Hey, so first Tammy talks to Bill, make sure that this is where they went. Bill said, yeah, we went through that fence. They cut a hole in the fence and went through the fence, and they went about 15 or 20 feet. And then Bill says he doesn't remember what happened after that, but he gave them the recollection of what happened in the jail cell a couple episodes ago. So I guess he just said he didn't remember at that point, so we don't know what to expect, whatever. So,
Or, yeah, how you actually entered the place.
Right.
I don't really remember.
I don't remember what happened, right? Come to find out, it's a portal. It's like a vortex, a black hole, a swirling opening between 2 worlds. Gordon's the only one that sees it. So Tammy's standing by the hole in the fence. She's watching, taking guard, and Albert and Cole are approaching. Albert stands in the safe zone, like kind of like Harry did with Dale. I'll stay right here and just wait till you come back, okay? And then Gordon walks till he gets to the spot where he starts to see this vortex, and we know that no one else sees it because Lynch is a good enough director to pull back and show us with the birds chirping and everything else, and Gordon's just reaching up in the sky and nothing's happening. But then you get back into Gordon's perspective, and he realizes on the other side of this there are woodsmen, and they are standing on a staircase, probably the room above the convenience store.
That's what I think.
And though it's eerily similar to Sarah Palmer's house, we're not quite sure yet. But I'm assuming this is where Briggs was. If he goes through, he'll see the place where where Ruth and Bill found the Major. So the Major must have been chilling above the convenience store.
So this was just, let's just make sure this is the place. We're going to have to come back now with some rope and some tennis balls and see where this thing goes.
No joke. It looks as though Gordon is about to be zapped out of existence on this plane, and Albert reaches and grabs Gordon and pulls him back. So Albert saves him from getting sucked up.
And I feel like something came out. Besides what we're about to see.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like anything could have happened there.
I forgot about the woodsman. They do see a woodsman prior to walking to the spot.
Yeah, so it's not like the door opened and
The woodsman was there first.
maybe one capable of doing anything.
The electricity, you hear the electricity, and then you see a woodsman. Gordon and Albert see the woodsman for sure. There is a quick cut with Diane, so possibly Diane saw it, and then Gordon and Albert definitely see it. No, that was the second one. It's Bill Hastings that sees the first woodsman.
Right.
Bill Hastings is terrified. He turns and looks forward. And Bill definitely sees the woodsman. And then Gordon and Albert mention it and talk about it. Do you see him? Yeah. So then after Albert saves Gordon from going in this vortex, they notice Ruth Davenport's body. And as Albert and Gordon are walking towards Ruth's body, Diane sees the second woodsman running around. There's a quick edit from Diane to the woodsman, so Albert and Gordon doesn't see it. There is another one. It might be the same one. It's just the second appearance.
Now, if body was there before the vortex or after the incident with the vortex, I don't know. But something else could have come. I'm worried for Cole. I'm worried that something might be in him in that moment.
His hand was
He was in there for a little bit, and for him, that little bit could have been a while.
Well, I don't think he got sucked all the way in. He was having a hard time recalling what he saw in there.
Yeah.
And for all we know, he might recall a month's worth of memories. We don't know yet.
Yeah, it's when that happened, it was one of the scarier moments of the season so far, because you just don't know what our favorite characters. When Shelley was on the hood of the car,
Yeah.
it was very possible that we were seeing the last of her, and it just feels like there's only 7 episodes left, and I'm starting to get worried.
Mm-hmm. And later on, when Bobby investigates that shooting, I thought, man, I hope they don't kill Bobby here.
See, we're talking later with when we get to the map and the Hawk figuring out where the location is and Bobby knowing where the location is. We're going to talk about it later, but it scares you to think that we might not need Bobby to get where we're going. Because if you didn't have Bobby, he's the only one that knows. And when I saw that, it's like, I think I know this is the spot. And it's like, oh, great, Bobby's expendable now. You never know with Lynch, and with this season. He came back to do it, and he wants... This could be a way for him to say, well, we ain't going to be doing this again.
Don't say that. A man can always dream. I've been dreaming about this return for 25 years.
I'm not trying to put a damper on anybody. I want to see a season 4.
Season 2. All right, so back to Buckhorn. What was really cool is before they cross into the fence, Albert says, Gordon says, you think there's one in there, Albert? And Albert said, we'll soon find out. And then after the experience, Albert says, well, I guess we found out. And Gordon says, we sure did, Albert. So
that one's got to be
an opening. Right.
Yeah, so you think there's one in there.
Yeah, there's one in Ghostwood, and there's one at this address, which Mackley says when he calls for backup.
And maybe one in New York.
Right.
I don't really know if it's an opening to something, or it's maybe it's just an exit.
There's openings everywhere in the world. You just have to find the spot. Yeah, that's what's definitely implied here. So,
Montague, Louisiana.
Yeah, that's where we were raised. So, Albert takes a picture of Ruth's arm. It still has coordinates written down on it. Albert takes those pictures, and while they're distracted, Diane notices a woodsman approaching the car that Mackley and Hastings are in. And it was my interpretation that she wasn't quite sure what she saw, and then when the woodsman disappeared and nobody reacted in the car immediately, she just thought, I don't know what I'm seeing. But anyway, we get the Pulp Fiction moment. And Mackley's like, oh my God! Whoa! Fuck! Oh my God! So
then he kills it.
And everybody runs to the car.
And this is really the anatomy of a scene right here when it starts with his head exploding. And I'll tell you as you continue telling the story, because we don't see it for a while. And it's just comedy, comedy, comedy. And we're all waiting to see it. And the big payoff, you know, the keen grasp of the obvious.
Yeah. Tammy and Albert and Gordon approach the car. They look in, and they're like, what happened, Mackley? Mackley's calling for backup. And then we see Hastings half head.
He's dead.
And Gordon
He's
states the obvious. He's dead.
He's dead.
Well, how about
The
that?
keen grasp of the obvious. Yeah.
It was an attack much like the glass box.
So set up for comedy.
The woodsman grab you, and we always saw the victims getting crushed. We never saw the result. We never saw the body there. Maybe they all look like what Hastings look like when the woodsmen are done crushing you.
Yeah.
Crushing your head.
Tracy and Sam.
Right. So that was it for Bill Hastings.
And I might as well
He's
mention
no longer with us.
the gift. Yeah. R.I.P. Hope Matthew Lillard gets enough recognition for the times. It might not have been enough time.
He said during the Comic-Con interview that he doesn't want to do Shaggy anymore. He wants to be separated from Shaggy. He wishes that he could be Bill Hastings forever.
Nice.
And yeah, I'm kind of hoping to see him in more movies now because I think he proved he can pull his weight.
And I want to mention the Gifted and the Damned while I can, because it just seems that only certain people are seeing the Woodsman. And this scene just showed it. Well, they'll talk about it more later. That just certain people see him and some don't, and
Right.
you're either gifted or you're fucked. So, yeah, but that's not very next scene. That comes up after.
Yeah, we go back to, we can finish off in Buckhorn if you want. There's only one more scene left.
Let's finish off in Buckhorn.
The group concludes their day at the Buckhorn Police Department. Tammy and Diane, actually no, it's Diane and Albert and Gordon. And they're waiting on Mackley and Tammy. And Gordon's right hand is shaking. And he says, cat on a hot tin roof. Never seen this happen before. It's never done this before. Something like that. And Albert says, aren't we supposed to get coffee? And then Diane wants to smoke. And Gordon tells her to ask Mackley. And then Gordon's like, I would really like some coffee. Albert says, well, what about some warm milk? You know, for the cat on the roof. And Gordon says, Ruth Davenport, yeah, I want to see the pictures that you took of Ruth Davenport. So Albert pulls the picture out, and he's got it oddly turned where Diane can see it. And Diane starts mouthing the words. And Albert notices her, and she notices Albert notice her. Very weird. Do you think Albert intentionally let her read it? Because he did say the last three numbers were smudged.
I think he took a picture of the numbers and then smudged the last three and took another picture. But that would be tampering with evidence. But he looks like he wanted Diane to see
Right,
those
and
numbers.
they're tapping Diane's phone,
So
so perhaps Diane can lead them somewhere that they want to go.
Either way, she's going to lead them where they want to go, or she's going to lead who they want to them. Or us, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hopefully Diane will come clean to Gordon in one of these upcoming episodes, and we'll see that she's been working secretly the whole time for good and not for bad. The call came from Mexico. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody that thinks she's in direct contact with Mr. C is wrong. Okay. You've heard it here. If you don't believe me, watch our other videos. We explain it. She's definitely in contact with someone that's not Mr. C. Okay. So Mackley finally shows up with the policeman's dream, coffee and donuts.
A policeman's dream.
I forgot the line when Albert
Well, when he says where are the coordinates, Albert says in a little town.
Yeah, it looks like it starts
A little
town in north.
In the north.
In the north.
And
then he stops.
And then it gets interrupted.
And then Gordon immediately says, the policeman's dream. It just sounds like Twin Peaks to me.
I hope it's the northwest part of the country.
Right. A town we've been before once they figure out those coordinates for real. That'd be nice. A way to get them there. So then Tammy shows up, and this is where we find out that there's no suspects. They couldn't find anyone. They couldn't find any evidence. They couldn't find Major Briggs' head. If you've got all these Buckhorn Police Department deputies running around that area, you think any of them might have stumbled upon the damn vortex, for goodness sakes? I mean, I can imagine, 3 or 4 cops out there. Let's check out this space. I don't know. But anyway, they're not finding evidence. And that's when Gordon recalls. He said, well, Albert and I saw someone out there. It was a bearded man. He was bearded, old, with a wool cap. And that's when Diane remembers, and she says, I think I saw someone like that too, coming out of the car.
Coming out of the car? Mm-hmm. We saw her looking at someone coming into the car.
Right. And then Detective Mackley says, well, I was in the car. And Diane says, well, maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Tammy said she didn't see anything.
And Tammy said she didn't see anything. So there's your confirmation. Mackley and Tammy didn't see anything. But Diane, Albert, and Gordon did.
I mean, why not ask Diane, did you see him coming out of the car by William's door? like it's the easiest way to get out after you blow someone's head.
I just think she wasn't sure what she saw. And there's no evidence of a guy running away. No one else saw a guy, so she just kept her mouth shut.
Yeah. But she saw the guy creeping up.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was creeping up to Mackley's door. Mackley's door.
He got in.
I was so happy when it was, no offense, but
You'd rather Hastings go than
his
Mackley.
time is come and gone. There's nothing left for him
And
to
I don't
do.
see any reason why the woodsman would want to kill him at this point. He's done giving everything up. He's brought them to the coordinates.
Evil Coop he ties up all loose ends. And maybe it was like in a return for giving you Ruth, we'll take him, or we meant to get you because you came in here. So you're ours now or something. So he just wasn't far enough away from the entrance.
The motivations of the lodge, those are the things that have always been left to question.
Well, the motivations if it was necessary, because Diane might not say anything because it was necessary for it to happen for an overall
Just
outcome.
like you said with the Briggs body being in that apartment.
Yeah, who would put Briggs' body in the apartment if you're a bad guy and you didn't want anyone finding you? And unless you're playing games like Bob putting a letter under the fingernail,
Linda Murrow.
We should look under
Or Jason Voorhees.
We should look under Ruth's fingernail, by the way.
Yeah, we should have.
Just in case.
Was it her left arm that had the coordinates? I think so. And her right arm was doing this number like she was holding on to someone when she died.
Yeah.
I picture her holding on to the bill.
Who had a woodsman in him was probably the one that killed her, and then he escaped. And that woodman had to come back and finish the job or something. I don't know. No, it was a different one that killed him.
It could be a motivation of Bob to leave Briggs' body there. If the ultimate
it's cat and mouse stuff. It's Wyndham Earle stuff. But it's not smart, especially if you're wanting to, you're short on time if you're Evil Coop. So putting that body there, it was meant for us, and hopefully it was meant to be found by good guys.
Right. Well, yeah, the good guys got him and was leaving us everywhere, so oops on him.
R.I.P. William Hastings.
Gordon says, dirty, bearded men in a room, which is just something David Lynch saying that's going to last infamy. It's going to last forever. Dirty, bearded men in a room. He recalls that after Diane has trouble recalling seeing the
It's
woodsman.
good they all were, they all have missed time, not just Dougie. They all have kind of amnesia.
Okay, so now we're going back to Twin Peaks because we're done with Buckhorn, and it's the Double R Diner scene with Bobby and Shelley and Becky. It's the good old family reunion. Bobby is being a responsible parent. Bobby is trying to have Becky be responsible for her actions. Bobby wants to make sure Becky pays for the damages. Shelley offers it first, but Becky's been taking all of Shelley's money, giving it to Steven, and Steven's been blowing it up his nose. So then Bobby steps in and says, I'll loan you the money, but you're going to pay me back. This is all things that a responsible parent would do. Bobby, of all people. Shelley shows she's, and at first it was so tender because Shelley tells Becky, we're your parents and we care about you and we don't want to lose you. And she starts crying, and when Shelley cries, it just kills me. She's so good. The scene she did with Carl Rod in that van was one take because you could see a jogger on the side of the road or someone walking on the side of the road. They were walking down the road and they stayed in the background the entire shot. And Shelley just nails it. Match can aim it, nails it. Okay. And she starts crying. We don't want to lose you. And you're thinking of Laura and what they went through with Bobby lost Laura. We don't want to lose you, and it's just awesome. And then freaking Red shows up, and Shelley turns into this googly little teenager. Oh, I don't care about my daughter or what's going on anymore. I just got to go outside and kiss the hump with the leather jacket. And oh, he's so hot. And you notice they were kissing each other, and then they noticed Bobby and Becky seeing them, and then they snuck off to the back like Steven did with Becky to get away from Mama, and that's what Shelley's doing with the husband probably, and her own daughter. Just gave me the frisons. And she comes back in all dolled up and smiling, and she sits down and looks at Bobby and looks at Becky, and she can't help but smile, because Red's that kind of guy. Red's the guy that's going to solve all your problems. Jeez Louise. Did I miss anything?
Well, Shelley is evil. And let me explain why.
Preach, Brother James, preach.
First of all, she said we're your parents. She didn't say Bobby is the biological father of Becky. So Becky is not 100% Bobby's daughter. In fact, when you go to the scene, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. When Bobby agrees to loan her the money, Shelley looks at Bobby, and he's looking at Becky, but he looks at her real quick and looks away. This is all about Bobby. This scene ending in the street is all about Bobby and how he's improved as an actor, Dana Ashbrook, and what he's been conveying. Subtlety in his game now. But this poor guy, he was a lily pad for her. She needed help getting away from Leo. He's there for her. And then she marries him. They're great at the end of season 2. But then she needs to find someone else.
It must be. Bobby turned into a good guy.
Now,
the better he got, the further away Shelley wanted to get. I bet.
Yeah. And now she's confused. I've been a lily pad a lot in my life. Yeah, I mean, he was used by Laura, and he was used by Shelley. I don't care if Bobby saved her life getting her away from Leo. She's not with him anymore. He loves her, and she's acting like a high school kid again. Yeah, she's a succubus. Now, the next thing, when she says, and I wrote it down, I have to find exactly what, but we're your parents. And immediately the camera goes to Bobby, and he looks at her, and it's a look.
I thought it was a connection, like, yeah, we have that in common.
He looks, and he has a smile. To me, it's a smile of appreciation. Like, I appreciate you for referring to her as her father.
Okay.
And then she looks at him, kind of like shaking her head, like, Yeah. You are.
That
You
is
really
Becky
are.
is Bobby's kid. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone.
All right.
But I'm
It's
saying,
Leo's kid.
I'm saying,
Red's only been attacked.
Bobby, unless Bobby was a cheap loser and he is still wearing the same clothes.
I know. Instead of having the plaid around him, he's got the plaid on, but he's still got that.
When he
cheesy-ass
agreed,
leather jacket.
he agreed to pay, and there was a look of like, you didn't have to do that.
I didn't get that.
But okay, go back and watch it.
No, I did.
I'm leaving every avenue open, and until I see or hear, even if she calls him daddy, I still wouldn't believe it. There's a lot of parents out there that aren't biological parents. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, digress, because the Double R Diner is. We're having like a
This is a
family therapy.
The entire scene is a scene of family dynamic.
Yeah, it is.
Bobby is witnessing what's going on with his child.
Shelley's being completely irresponsible. And she
then-
has taste in men for crap.
And we see it when we go outside with the next two groups of people that we meet.
Yeah, before we go outside, Becky is defending her man. In 1 second she hates him, and the next second she loves him. And this is definitely a
That's
reflection
love.
of domestic violence and how wives lie to cover up what's going on in their lives, and drugs and covering up all that and everything else. She says that Stephen has a good heart. Well, I've yet to see it. You hope that he has a good heart, and that's the way the town's getting infected right now.
Yeah.
In reality, it's drugs and abuse, and in the world of Twin Peaks, it's the Black Lodge caving in.
And the infestation of the fertility of the soil. We'll get to that when we get to the map.
So all of a sudden, in the middle of this family dynamic, 2 shots are fired. Everybody gets down. Toad flips the lights off because Norma's on point. Turn the lights off, Toad! Bobby immediately gets outside with the gun. I mean, he is the cop in charge. Approaches the scene, and it's this idiot family who's carrying a gun in their car, and the dad and the son are dressed the same in camo, and they're gun-toting, gun-loving, God bless America people. And the wife's going crazy because you're not supposed to have a loaded weapon in a car with a child unless you're a moron.
Or a hunter.
And if anybody thinks David Lynch is abusing women by having all these women yell at their husbands, this one was justified, okay? So that's what happened. This kid shot this gun twice.
And no remorse on that kid's face.
Passing a look at Bobby like, yeah, I meant to do that. Did I hit anyone? I was hoping I didn't miss. And the dad was all like, I raised him. That's my boy right there. That's my seed.
Shoot him right between the eyes.
So reflect on Bobby's situation in this.
Well, this is family dynamic as well. He's looking at the kid like, what is going on with this kid? Like, who is raising this thing? And then looks over at the dad dressed exactly like him, and the dad looks away. It's just so
Perfect.
So like, I'm raising him, but it doesn't mean I have to pay attention to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And all the while, an annoying honking horn. If there's anything that's more annoying, I'm sorry. I love the tension buildup of the repetition of something like, hello, Johnny, how are you today?
Right.
Hello, Johnny, how are you today? Or Alien and Aliens. Bam, 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 because they keep it low.
Yeah, they keep the volume low.
Man.
This horn was just so loud, and you didn't want to turn the volume down because you might miss some dialogue. And look, no one lays on their horn that much. Nobody. This woman's insane. Now, the woman in the car, the crazy woman, I think she's called Crazy Woman in the cast. Okay, I understand what Lynch was saying. He was saying people have their own lives, regardless of all this maniacal situation going on. This woman had a situation that was more important to her than anything else, and it had to be done. But come on. After a minute of that horn, I was ready to kill that woman.
And if you're a good parent with
Right.
family dynamic, you would have carried your ass out
of
the
that
car and said, excuse me, sir, I have a
need to go
situation.
somewhere. Yeah, you don't sit there and then she starts screaming when he gets there like a mad woman. Oh God, she hasn't seen her uncle
That,
in
an alarm
forever.
clock knocking on the door constantly.
You could have drug your fingernails on chalkboard, and it wouldn't.
I would've liked that better.
as much as the damn horn.
I do love horror movies, and I don't like incessant screaming, and that's why I don't like torture porn, like
Or any of
Hostel.
the Halloween remakes.
Yeah, oh man, that girl and both of them. Just shut up. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't teach you right. Man. Friday the 13th are great because they have like 2 seconds of scream before they're dead.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre was the one that pushed me to the edge. That was 74.
Yeah, that was 74. But we said in this scene, there's the train tracks are right there behind the diner.
Mm-hmm.
And if you'd have had a train going by instead of that, you could have had that same effect with
Could have
the
created the movie.
tension, the
Right,
and it would have
right.
sounded so good.
And then her story about being out of town and having to get miles away, and I'm late as it is. If the train would have been going, it would have been like, you're going to be late anyway. And it would have been like, I'm on the wrong side of the track. She's freaking out. It's almost like it's night, like you said, it's nighttime, and I'm in Twin Peaks. I gotta get out of here.
Like, we don't want to drive through here at night. There's a one horse, there's one stop sign.
Right, you're on the wrong
We
side.
get
of
through
the
here
tracks.
and we're out of here.
Right, and if a train would have been going, that would have been great. We're the fans that love it. I'm telling you, and we're going to complain about the stuff that matters. Okay.
That's the stuff that matters,
Yeah,
right
that horn honking was
The another thing
went
that
from
matters.
a 10 to a 9 to me.
Yeah, it did. It knocked me down to a 9. That's what knocked it down to a 9. Was that noise?
And her damn, she hasn't seen Morocco and she's sick. And then she acts like she doesn't realize the child's sick because she turns around and the child's sick.
There's something
And she
really
starts
wrong
going.
This is where we got oh.
It's The Exorcist.
Now there's two camps. There's the zombie camp and the Exorcist camp.
Right. People say zombie.
I think the older generation refers to it as Exorcist, but it looks like Exorcism of Emily Rose with the hands,
Yeah.
but the split pea soup colored vomit coming out of her mouth. It both signifies, well, one signifies possession, one signifies infection, but it both signifies,
Twin Peaks.
yeah.
And the darkness that's over the town now.
And Bobby is seeing this, and I think he's like, it's all about family in that point, and it's all about Dan Ashbrook's acting. It makes
It
it
really is.
just keep it muted and watch it on mute.
He's the best guy in this whole scenario. I mean, he's a better parent than all of these morons in the streets of Twin
And his hair is white, so believe me, I was looking when Becky looked at him to see if there was any kind of look that he might have been fooling around with her when she was a kid, and that's why Shelley wasn't with him. You know, I don't think David Lynch wouldn't do that. Hey, your hair is white anyway, but she didn't at all. Becky never looked at him like he was anything more than a guy that raised her.
I think Bobby's a hero in this right now. He really is. See, like his father, you know, that goodness in Major Briggs is carrying over to Bobby.
Yeah.
And I hope it shines bright enough to help these situations. Now, he took control of the scene.
Martyr.
I would just make, any of these characters die.
It's coming.
So,
There's a reckoning. Twin Peaks: The Reckoning, season 1.
I hope we don't get it 25 years from now. So, Deputy Jesse shows up. He says he was at Big Ed's gas farm. He heard shots.
Nah.
And he shows up on the scene within like a minute.
I've been studying Dana Ashbrook. I told you this whole time. Go back and watch his subtlety this whole time. And when Jesse says that, and I heard shots, he looks at him for a second light, and then he goes to what he has to do.
To tell him
But we've been there, and regardless, you can see a map. You can look up a Twin Peaks map. And Big Ed's gas farm, to me, if you look at the map, is too far away to have heard shots or to get there in that quick of a time.
I don't know if the distance is in reality the same as on the map they're using in the show.
Well, they have the Twin Peaks map
So you
for
can
the
look
show.
up the actual map
the
for
actual
the
map
show.
for the show.
And Big Ed's gas farm is a good ways away. I don't know if he could have heard a shot from way over there, but it would have definitely taken him more than a minute.
Well, it makes me think about this because Red was just there.
Yes.
And Jesse, we already know.
Already.
We already know Richard's working with Red and Chad's working with Richard. So
Jesse's probably
that
involved
puts
in it.
Jesse in a very interesting spot.
And he never blinks that whole scene. He's like, I was at Big Ed's Gas Farm.
I don't know this town
Guess
too
what?
well, and so I'm going to name a place that's 3 miles away.
We'll see. But Jesse's suspicious, and then he pops up later on and does something else suspicious in a scene that most people want to throw away
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
because we're going
Jesse
out,
number 2.
We're going out
With a podcast that talks about Jesse twice in one.
we're rambling. People have tuned out after 45 minutes. We haven't even gotten to Vegas yet.
Oh, crap.
Okay, so now we're going to the sheriff's station for one last time. It's night. The same night as 2 episodes ago. It's the same night as they got
The same night that Dougie got laid, the same night that that we went to the casino.
Yep. And if you guys aren't talking about it, then I guess you found a way to ignore this. But when I'm following a crime drama, I like to know things.
I have to ignore it because it's
Right.
Lynch now. He's already proven the point that he's going to make
Present
us
it. Anyway,
map it on different pieces, and you'll still be able to watch it.
and make it all come together. Man, we're getting hours and hours and hours of David Lynch. It's just phenomenal. This is like his whole career multiplied. And we're getting it every week. It's just wonderful. Okay, so it's Truman and Hawk. Sheriff Frank Truman is looking on the computer. He's figuring out where these coordinates would lead. He says, I think it's going to lead us probably here. And Hawk says, well, let's look at my map. Pulls out the big old map. This map is very old, but it's always current. It's a living thing.
That reminds me of Lynch's paintings. Some of his paintings are carcasses, and they constantly change. So it's a living painting. It's the first thing I thought,
Well, his motion pictures are moving paintings,
especially Eraserhead.
Hawk note says that Major Briggs Station was located on Blue Pine Mountain. He points at the map to Blue Pine Mountain. He said this is very sacred land. He says this is where we're going to have to go. And Bobby did say that Jackrabbit's Palace was right near their station. So they're going to Blue Pine Mountain, very sacred place. Sheriff Truman asked about the fire. Is this a campfire? Hawk says, no, this is a fire symbol. It can also be referred to modern day electricity. In my mind, this is just a source of power and how one chooses to wield it. Because Hawk emphasizes the intention behind the fire is important. Because Truman wants to know, is it bad? And he says, it's really the intention behind the fire. Then Hawk says, if you read these stars, and he points to the stars on the map, you'll find the same date that Briggs is sending him to October 1st, October 2nd. If you read the stars on the map, you'll find the date. And that'll refer you to here. And he points to black corn that's on the map. It's corn is fertility. But since it's black, it's diseased or unnatural. Death.
And that's soil, that's ground, is fertile. That's also anybody that was born in Twin Peaks. Anything that's trying to grow in Twin Peaks
It makes me think of Richard Horn.
gets poisoned. I believe he's more poisoned than most, but they're all damaged
Right.
produce.
Right. And it brings me back to that fire in 1902. I mean, the white man showed up and they raped the land, and this was sacred land, and the woodsmen were cursed as a result of it, and the whole town is going shit, and they need the balance of good to come in.
Yeah.
In the form of either Laura or Agent Cooper. Because right now it's all disease and unnatural.
And it's rapid. It's rapidly evolving.
And Hawk points to the fire symbol, and he points to the black corn. He says, when you combine this with this, you get this, and it's black fire. That's what Truman calls it, and Hawk says, yes, black fire. Then Truman wants to know about the symbol, which was the same picture as on the playing card. And Hawk won't tell him. Hawk says, Frank, you don't want to know about that.
Do you mean to tell me You're not going to tell me about what we're about to go encounter?
I'm not going to give you a.
I don't have a game plan.
A definition of it. This is left to your own interpretation. That's the ultimate part. My 6-year-old, well, he's 7 now, but when he was 6, he drew a picture that looks remarkably similar to that playing card creature. It's so
But
funny.
it said the sky is cool. That's what it
said.
said.
It's cool.
It's different.
A little Twin Peaks boy. He's drawing premonitions of the show. So then we get a call from the log lady. Of course, we hear Lucy first. She just beeps in and immediately just starts talking. I don't know why I'm thinking about furniture. Andy and I are never home anyway.
They're buying a lot of furniture unless they're still talking about the chair and that Rolex.
Yeah, the chair. It brings you back to episodes ago, the same episode. That's the same night. That's why she's still talking about the chair.
Stuck on that.
Yeah, she was shopping for the chair 2 episodes ago, but this is the same. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
She says, I have the log lady for you. It's on line 2. That's the line that's blanking when I hang up. And so Hawk answers, and the log lady says, Hawk, can you hear me? Yes, I can. Hawk, can you hear me? Yes, I can. She wants to know if Hawk found anything. Hawk said, yes. I'm sorry I didn't get a hold of you to let you know. The log lady wants to know what he found, and he says, I can't tell you. So he's either talking about what he saw at Glastonbury the night he was walking out there, or he's talking about the Briggs evidence. Either way, he's not going to tell the log lady, which is kind of crazy because she helps with everything.
Against police procedure.
Right. So, and he is there in front of the sheriff. And so the log lady says, well, you know, my log doesn't like fire. And there's fire where you're going. She says it twice. There's fire where you are going.
Her husband was a woodsman. He was a woodsman, but I never saw him as evil. He somehow talks to her through this log, but...
Now, Catherine Coulson said that it's not like that at all. She said that she wouldn't say that she's talking to her dead husband through the log. In real
just
life,
the wood,
she
just the...
explained it that way. That
okay.
She was talking to the wood. The log lady went out to the site where her husband died and cut a piece of wood off of one of the trees that had been burned. This was the part of the tree that was still alive. It's talking, I guess. That's her husband, and that's the way I'm Lynch could tell me it's not the husband, and I'm going to say, no, it's the husband.
No, it's the husband, Lynch. It's a good woodsman, too. It's easier to believe that, you know, they're not all bad. We're just seeing ones from areas, I guess, where they are. I'm hoping to see some, you know, good inhabiting spirits soon.
Now, Truman is looking directly at the map and the black fire image when the log lady says there's fire where you're going. And this is confirmation for Truman. He's been getting all of this kooky evidence that's future telling stuff, and then this is just solidifies it.
And then when 2 things happen simultaneously, referring
to the same object of inquiry, we must always pay strict attention.
That happened. Trooper, that moment happened for Truman.
And then we get the knock at the door.
Okay.
Sheriff Truman approaches the door and opens it, and it's Jesse.
Jesse was a friend. You know, he used to be a good friend of mine. Not anymore, because he's got a brand new car.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's brand new. In fact, it's a 2000.
Jesse, don't tell us what year it is.
Please don't, for the love of God.
I will go outside and look at it tomorrow, I promise. With all the other things on my plate, I will go look at your car tomorrow.
Brand new as it is.
This isn't important right now.
It's not 1999.
The fact that you're getting paid probably minimum wage, and that you have a brand new car, and you're about to tell us what year we're in,
Yeah,
is not important.
it's not important right now. I got a map to look at.
Yeah. Close the door, and then Hawk's just staring at the map. Okay, that's it for Twin Peaks. The rest of it is in good old Viva Las Vegas.
Oh my goodness.
Viva Las Vegas.
This is a long one. Not as long as say Professor Pay.
Say Professor Pay. Hey, they do a shot by shot.
Or yeah, that is
And I enjoy their
very long.
I enjoy their one of them's a fan and one of them could care less, and I like their discussions.
We hope you have time to stick around for Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, we're going to Lucky 7 Insurance.
That's part of the episode.
Bushnell Mullins is in his office. He calls Dougie, come to my office. We have to talk about this. We have to get on the same page. And Phil's there and says, yeah, I'll bring him in. And Phil leads Dougie Coop in with the coffee. Cooper actually looks aggravated when he grabs that coffee finally in the office.
Like, he must have been since the elevator.
It's great. It's great.
And Bushnell's just
doing push-ups on his desk.
Getting ready. Man. That was a great shot.
Yeah, Don Murray's killing it.
Killing it. Hey, check it out, by the way. Remember Color Form set? Planet of the Apes. Don Murray was in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and he killed it.
Yeah. If they would have had Comic-Cons back in the 70s, he'd have been in Comic-Con.
And he was old then compared to his poster. Like, when you see him in his poster and you see him in Conquest, it's like, he's getting old.
Yeah, this man, I mean, watch him when he walks around, man. He's got some shoulders on him. He's ready to knock somebody out. I can't wait. So Dougie comes in, Dougie sits down, and Bushnell starts telling Dougie, you know, you uncovered this organized crime, potential police corruption. And Bushnell's putting the pieces together. You know, it wasn't arson that burnt down that hotel. It was a legitimate claim by the Mitchum brothers. And because of Dougie's drawings, he's exposed the organized crime. And Bushnell says there is somebody behind this. It's not the Mitchum brothers. It's somebody else. So it immediately brings me to Mr. C and Duncan Todd. Duncan Todd obviously is the one that got Tony Sinclair to do the books so that the Mitchums would get denied that money. So we know Tony Sinclair is going to get reprimanded for this. But that's internal. When I think organized crime, I think, okay, there's another larger faction, and that is obviously Duncan Todd. He's the one in Vegas you got to worry about, not the Mitchum brothers. And we find out later on for sure. The Mitchum brothers are all right. But Bushnell's crazy. He got a call from the Mitchum brothers. They want a meeting with Dougie, and he's going to send Dougie out there to see him.
With a $30 million check. No armored truck or nothing.
Just going to send you out there with a $30 million check. They'll like you for that. You know, Bushnell says that.
Getting them from point A to point B, that's no way that would happen. Brinks! But I don't even question stuff like that. Let's just go with it.
So 5:30 comes around. They go outside. Bushnell and Dougie go outside, and Dougie notices this coffee shop. It's called Simon's Famous Coffees, and Simon is spelled weird. It's got a big dark Z in the name,
just like the coffee that Tracy gave Sam.
It's a big Z. Very weird, huh?
It must be a franchise. I mean, we barely got a Starbucks down here in the last 10 years, seriously. So there's franchises that are all over that we never heard about. Simon's must be one.
Could be, I don't know.
I didn't notice Famous Coffees, though.
No.
I didn't notice.
Dougie goes in there because he sees Mike, the one-armed man, motioning him to come in. And we don't go in with Dougie because they don't want to give up what Dougie's getting. No,
But Bushnell does.
Yeah, Dougie doesn't even have a wallet. Bushnell had to follow them in there and pay for this thing.
I wanted to see that so bad because it's like, how did he pay for that when he doesn't have a wallet?
That would be funny to see.
How did he box a pie up without eating it?
But they...
He could have just walked in there, grabbed that box off the counter, and walked out. But Bushnell was with him, so
yeah, and
Bushnell said, I'll handle that. Yeah.
So then the limo shows up. Bushnell gets Dougie to go in. Bushnell says, remember, I'm in your corner. Knock him dead. He kind of touches Dougie's face, and Dougie grabs a straightener and starts rubbing it like this, which is not what Bushnell did. And Dougie says, dead.
And that's what Evil Coop did
to
kill Jack.
So
but I thought I was like Bushnell, just a little was like,
oh man, Bushnell's got one mean right. So the limo driver's the same guy. It's Al, the limo driver. He knows how to handle Dougie. He helps Dougie into the car, and then he gets in the car and he looks back and he says, "Red door." So funny. That was so funny to me.
oh, it would have been so great if he did it when they were down the desert road. You know, red door, and then he would look expecting to see a red door in the middle of an empty desert.
Oh man. Okay, so the limo drives. We get this horrible version of Viva Las Vegas. Mine's better. Viva Las Vegas. And then we get to. I forgot about the mention.
Oh,
Scene
breakfast
with
scene.
breakfast.
At 2:32 or 2:23 in the morning.
Yeah.
Afternoon.
So Rodney's awake and he's enjoying breakfast, and then Candy comes and says, Bradley's about to come out of the bathroom. And there's this awesome reflection of Candy in the mirror, in the window in the back. So you hardly see Candy in the scene, but you can see her reflection in the mirror. And it's so neat to me because when she walks off the screen, it looks like her reflection goes behind the tree that's outside. I don't know, I just thought it was neat. It was like Candy was running around in the woods.
I did say last week what I thought about Candy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Candy's special. We were talking about sprinkles of goodness, and they had to come to the forefront, and they came.
We needed some good inhabiting spirits coming to the forefront in some kind of way.
Somebody's inhabiting Candy. but she's doing some good stuff so far.
It's the same thing with the wires going across Richard's face in the truck before he hit the boy. Candy disappearing into the trees. It's like, so.
I don't know. I love stuff like that. Deming deserves an award nomination just for that shot alone. Anyway, Bradley comes in. Bradley Mitchum. He sits down. He pours himself a nice big, sponsored by Raisin Bran bowl of cereal. And then, to top it off, because Lynch doesn't like this product placement stuff, Bradley pushed the bowl away and says, "I can't eat this."
I can't eat this. Meanwhile, Robert Knepper is eating a bowl of what looks like Kellogg's Corn Pops, which you don't see the box, and he's eating away, or he's shoving it down his throat.
Corn, no, it's all corn-based products.
But for product placement, anybody that knows Lynch knows that was not only blatant.
Lynch has cars pull up to the
all of
camera
it
all
was
the time.
blatant.
You see what kind of car he has in the show. It pulls up right up to the camera, and then the camera goes up to the windshield. That happens in every Lynch movie. Sans Dune and Elephant Man. Because they didn't have cars. But anyway, so Bradley starts talking about a dream he had. He said he had a dream. I kept having it all night. And Bradley's like, what? What's the dream about? Bradley's like, I just want to kill this Dougie Jones. Can it wait 3 hours? I don't know. But then they get out to the desert. They're waiting for Dougie to come out there. And Bradley recalls his dream again. He says, in my dream, Bradley says, oh God. Your candy cut was healed. Candy cut. So he pulls the bandage off of his brother's face, Rodney's face, and it's healed. Rodney's like, oh,
So it tells me Jim Belushi is, I still don't know their names.
Bradley and Rodney.
Jim Belushi, Bradley, and Rodney. I thought Rodney was the older brother, but the way he grabbed him and pulled that Band-Aid off, but he was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It reminded me of how you mess around with your little brother.
Yeah, the way he's roughing him up later on in the scene. He's like, we've got to be together on this. Yeah, he's older. So he says, Bradley says, I can't remember anything else in the dream. He knows there's something else, but he can't remember. Lynch is classic for that. I don't remember. I'll tell you later. Oh yeah, I forgot. One other thing. Well, that's all. Even the giant giving clues like, oh, I forgot to tell you something.
Yeah.
Let me throw this in real quick.
I forgot to tell you. Just come in with the rest of it.
So,
one more thing.
Bradley and Roslyn go outside. Dougie shows up. Al, the limo driver, pulls Dougie out. Rodney's going to send him home, but Bradley says, no, wait. He notices that Dougie's holding a big box. So Bradley pulls his brother aside and says, the box was in the dream. I'm telling you, if there's a certain something in that box,
Hat box sized.
he says, if it's in that box, we can't kill him. Ronnie's like, why? Because that means he's on our side. And then Ronnie's like, how can you be so sure? Look, it's a 1,000,000 to 1 shot, but if this thing is in there, if this certain thing is in there, we can't kill him. We have to be on the same page on this. So Ronnie's like, okay, what's in the box? And Bradley whispers. Of course, whisper.
So great.
So then Roddy pulls out the gun, points it at Dougie, and says, all right, what's in the box? Is that a cherry pie? Dougie Jones says, cherry pie.
Cherry pie.
Bradley goes over there, opens it up. It's a cherry pie! And Roddy says, frisk him anyway.
Yeah.
Bradley frisks him. This guy didn't even have a wallet. Then he finds an envelope. It's addressed to us. He opens it up and he almost faints. It's a check for $30 million. He shows it to his brother and they start howling in the desert. And Bradley says, I love this guy. He runs up to Dougie. Dougie. He says, Dougie. And Dougie says, Dougie Jones.
Wonder what he was looking at before all of that. Like the entire time, he was just
into the desert.
Yeah, we could have seen a cactus.
We might have been watching the woodsman running around out there.
Could have learned a little something while he was out there, but I can't think of something that he would see that would snap him back in the desert.
Now, Cooper standing out there with that box in the middle of the desert naturally reminds everyone of Seven. Who's anybody that's ever seen the movie Seven. But there's also a lot of gangster casino movies.
For me, that's the whole Casino, Goodfellas.
You have to name those off.
I mean, it bleeds into the next scene with more gangster movies, right. But the whole restaurant. Desert, take him out in the desert and dig a hole.
And what a great twist. If you guys saw that one coming, congratulations. I didn't see that one coming. I knew that. I had a feeling Dougie wasn't going to die, but I didn't know they were going to turn into best friends.
We keep waiting for a True Romance kind of shoot 'em out scene where, and I thought that was going to go down in the desert with Tim Roth and Jennifer Jason Leigh, and
I thought Ike the Spike was going to be there.
Oh yeah, running around with his pig.
Tony running away. Oh.
Yeah, Tony getting bit by a rattlesnake.
Tom Sizemore in a True Romance scene. That would definitely be paying homage.
Oh, true, that was Michael Madsen.
Oh, was it? I thought Sizemore was there.
No, you're right. I was rattlesnake. I'm thinking something else. It was all in my head, but Seven really wasn't till he walked out of that with a big box, and it's like that's Major Briggs' head in that box. Right. I don't know how, where he went and got it,
how or why,
but why else make it a hat box-sized box for a piece of pie?
It's fancy pie. You want to make sure you don't smash the top. Is that the pie they're eating later on in the restaurant? I'm assuming that is the pie they're eating.
Just people bring it to the table. Right. It takes them a long time to bring it to the table.
The girls arrive.
The girls arrive at the same time.
What was the first line?
But the very first, and while we have Godfather, Goodfellas, and everything else, and any Italian gangster movie you ever seen, the first word said by Jim Belushi was, and I had to write it down.
Because it's so funny for Dougie's situation.
You mean to say your kid never had one?
No, Jim said.
No, Jim said. How did they get to that part of the conversation when Dougie doesn't speak anything with the last two words?
Right.
It is, you mean to say?
You mean to say?
Are you telling me
that your son has no Jim said?
That your wife rode you the other night?
So they know he has a son. And I'm sure
I have friends that are like that, where it's like, I don't know how to hold a conversation with them, but.
Right, that's so funny. Somehow we're in the middle of this conversation where they're assuming Dougie just talked, and they know about him having a kid with no Jim Set. It's just brilliant because
we had Jim Set at our orphanage.
These guys, the Mitchum brothers, did not trust Tony Sinclair at all. Bradley said, "I don't trust him as far as I can throw him," or something like that. And they're sitting here and around this table like family, and then the music changes to something slow, which catches Dougie's attention, and then the slot addict shows up.
Mrs. Jackpots.
And she recognizes Mrs. Jackpots. She's a changed woman. She's gotten her son back in her life. Her son's name is Denver. She's got a house now. She's dressed. She's all bathed. She said she's got right. She's got a new dog.
Yeah.
Her whole life has changed because of Mr. Jackpots. And the brothers are just enamored by this. Like, man, this guy is magical. Everywhere he goes, he changes people's lives. He changed their lives, too. So,
it was important for the pie to be patient and for the girls to be late for this scene to take place, for that song to play, for the old lady to come in, and for that moment. People always concentrate on when he drinks coffee or when he hears a certain word, but music and conversations that he has, I feel, are waking him up too. We're just not pointing out that it's happening because I guess it's just such a slow process. You see a quick result when it's edible or.
Yeah, people are trying to figure out what's the one thing that's going to snap him out of it. I don't know if he gets snapped out of it on this existence in this plane as long as his doppelganger's running around. I don't think you get full Coop back until someone takes out the doppelganger. I don't know how Dougie's going to take out the doppelganger, but I don't think you get Coop back in a flash. Now, the one thing that hasn't happened to him is he hasn't been identified as Cooper yet. No one has addressed him as Cooper.
He hasn't been around a single woman named Laura.
Or Diane.
Yeah, or any name that Lynch uses for 3 different characters.
Right. If he heard the name Cooper, that might do it. Snap him out of it. Or Cole, or Albert, or Diane.
Or if we can get some big drug bust going down in Twin Peaks and it makes nationwide news, maybe we'll hear a story about Twin Peaks on TV. And Ducky can, and at the same time, the brothers could be wanting to give him a plane ticket anywhere he wants to go, and he hears Twin Peaks on TV, and he goes, Twin Peaks? And they go, okay, we'll buy you a small charter flight. They have a small airport there. Yeah, we'll charter you a flight. Oh, and get him back to Twin Peaks. And that'll wake him up. He'll land Cooper.
The scene is, well, first of all, they were talking about gym sets. They said even our orphanage had a gym set, and that was kind of strange. Maybe the neighborhood orphanage, maybe they knew a bunch of kids that were in the orphanage, maybe they were in the orphanage themselves. But, and then these, their showgirls show up, and they have no place to go. It just made me think that they're like taking on these girls because they have no place to go. The way that Candy was talking about air conditioning, like she was lucky to have it. And why she was so panicky that she hit the boss, because they do take good care of them, apparently. And but they constantly refer to Candy to do these things. The girls show up and they're like, okay, so Candy, where have you been? And she gave us a frickin' weather report the first time, and now she's giving us traffic. Oh, the traffic's so busy out. There's so many cars out.
I could drive good in the neighborhood, but once I hit the strip.
So,
how do they drive?
Right. Look at their hands and stuff. Okay, so Dougie's tearing through his pie. He has his first bite of pie, and he's like, and then he just starts tearing into it, and Rodney takes a bite and says, "This pie is so damn good." And Dougie says, "Damn good." And he sounds like Cooper when he says it.
Yeah.
Damn good.
And he looks.
And he starts tearing into that pie again. They want to do a toast, and he's always trying to grab the glass. He takes a sip the first time, he recognizes alcohol, and the second time he doesn't take a drink.
Yeah, it's like, that's not even, well, champagne maybe.
Coffee, donuts, pie at the same time. Maybe that's the killer combo that'll wake him up. But anyway.
I know what he needs.
What?
A black Yukon sucker punch.
No, he didn't even take a sip of that.
He didn't take a sip of that? Oh, shit. I was name dropping.
So, they get Candy to get him another piece of pie. And I love how Candy's staring at Cooper when she hands him the pie. There's a connection there.
Yeah.
Even though Cooper's not looking at her.
I think that's more. That's more.
Yeah, there are agents of good around. But
she was waiting around for him to show up, and now he's in her. Yeah, hopefully we get her leading him out into the street, putting him on a bus that says Twin Peaks, Washington.
Candy and Dougie just married.
Now just helping. Candy will come to after, and Laura will have to go be in someone in Twin Peaks to help him there. Something. I'm ready for the mystical stuff.
So that's it. That was it. We close with the slow piano piece again. I'm assuming it's called Heartbreaking. Angela Badalamenti. Credits roll. And yes, that was Kirsten Hayward.
Alicia Witt, who I think is also the voice of the evolution of the arm, but that's just my opinion.
Well, she better be a good girl if she wants to perform at the Roadhouse.
Speaking of the evolution of the arm, that is who I believe will say, "Let's rock," next week's episode.
The evolution of the arm.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was the little man who said it before, so it's not really swinging for the fences. It's kind of the same character.
Well, we haven't seen him since Ike. So,
Who do you think is going to say it?
I think Cooper is going to say, "Let's rock."
What?
Sure. He's going to be ready to.
You've been saying that. You've been saying that for 3 weeks, 4 weeks since we started this. You've been saying that. Let's rock sounds like a good time for Coop to come back.
I really don't think it's going to happen now. The build-up isn't there. I don't think it happens. But hey, leave your expectations at the door when it comes to Twin Peaks: The Return.
Like, comment, and subscribe
to Rosenfield 10. If you want more videos like this, the best damn content you're going to get.
with the worst video and audio.
I'm Joe.
I'm James.
This was Twin Peaks Twin Perspective, our recap and review of Part 11. There's fire where you are going.
Hope you enjoyed it. We talk about a lot of different stuff that no one else talks about, just to bring it up.
Yeah.
Like Jesse, and family values was really important this episode, and guns, of course, but
the fact that Diane is not talking to Mr. C, but you watch our older videos. And
or Laura Dern's she's not getting a good chance to win a Golden Globe or anything, because, I mean, her second episode was
knocked it out of
the park, and now all she says is, "Fuck you."
Right.
Oh, by the way, fuck you, Shelley.
Yeah, we need to get a Gordon and Diane intimate one-on-one conversation where Diane can fess up to what she's doing, explain all this stuff.
And garner Best Supporting Actress nomination.
No, I guess Naomi Watts is going to have this one sealed up. Janie E. wasn't in this episode, and neither was Mr. C.
Yeah, can't wait to see. But like you said, everything takes 2 episodes.
2 to 3 episodes. So go
next
back
week,
3 episodes.
Back 3.
And see what you were waiting on to happen. 2 episodes, and then this will be the 3rd week. And
so that's
Chantel Hutch,
Evil Coop,
and the Warden.
And the Warden. Yep.
So
all that's coming up next.
So we'll see. We're going to be doing thoughts we thought you didn't think of later on in the week for Part 11 in anticipation of Part 12. Let's rock.
Let's rock.
So thank y'all so much for tuning in. Subscribe and like and comment if you want to contradict anything, and let us know how bad our audio and video is. And
we go watch everybody. Everybody come watch us.
Yeah, we love the community, and we'll start telling everybody who we like, and we want you guys to watch us too. You know, don't leave yourself out in the open. Come talk to us, Twin Peaks fanatics. We know what's going on. All right, until next time, I'm Joe, this is James, and we will see you in the trees.